Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Manoj.
Hey, good morning. All right. Let's give a couple of minutes to people. Let me just bring up the document for agenda. All right. I think we are getting there. Let's just see. We have plenty of.
Hey Manoj, good morning.
Yes. Hey, good morning, Reddy. Okay. All right. I think we can get started. Looks like Reddy, you are making a document also. So let me
I created it. Yeah, I wanted to actually cover that. I'm glad you created the other spreadsheet.
Yes, I'm just going to. So I'm going to copy that link and drop it in the document. Oh, I'm getting a wrong one here. Give me 1 minute, people. I'm just creating the document so that I can start talking to it. Okay. All right. So we have 2 agenda items. Let me share my screen. Hope I'm assuming you can see my screen. Yeah. Okay. Everybody seeing CMS meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we had 2 agenda items essentially for planning for a global OCP. Now that you guys have seen the dates are out for submissions. So we just want to take time today to talk about global OCP submissions for the speakers, as well as for the Innovation Village submissions. Any other agenda that we want to add today?
Manoj, I have a very quick request that might not need agenda item. We have gone through some presentations that explain how to do computational memory with type 3 device. And we posted a recording from our weekly meeting with a team in Korea.
Okay.
We want some input from people who are members of CXL consortium to clarify the use of HDM variants that are, with or without back invalidates, and what is the sort of CXL consortium view on how computational memory should behave with respect to dot cache and the type of memory semantic we should present in case we actually do start to support beyond type 2, which is our current plan of record.
So if you have the access to CMS meeting minutes, can you drop the pointer to the document?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's in the CMS CXP meeting. I will.
Okay. If you can just drop a pointer here.
Okay.
Then,
I will do it.
I don't know whether Siamak is online. You could ask
I'm
Siamak,
here.
or I can ask. Okay, Siamak, I think. So there is a request. How do we get this? Maybe you can suggest who should review it also. So it looks like we would like to get somebody to review the document that CXP team has created for use of some of the 3.1 features. Back invalidate specifically.
Yeah.
You want a technical review of that specifically? Anybody that we can request to join Steam for a review or at least give offline comments, etc.
Do you want it to be presented?
Or you can look at it also yourself, Samak, but yeah.
I'll look at it for sure, but does the team want to eventually present it from the point of view of OCP, or would one of the company members like to present it within the CXL consortium as a CXL member?
Samak, for us, it will be enough if someone knowledgeable about the CXL spec comments on it. It's not letting me post here, unfortunately. Manoj, I might just want to share my screen for a second.
Yeah, or you can just drop it in the chat. I'll copy paste it there.
No, it's not letting me post in chat because it says the message is too long.
So there is a regional OCP in Korea?
Yes, I think I saw that one.
Oh, is it? Oh,
So it won't let me share my screen while you have. But when we get to this agenda, we can get there. Then, Manoj.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's get to that. Any other agenda item? Okay, let's get there. On the global OCP submission, I have created, I hope people have this document. Let me see if I can copy it and paste it in our chat so that people can have it. Let's see if this works. So look at the global OCP submissions. I'm just creating a document so that we can put our topics. If we can get a short abstract there, that's awesome. Or you can just submit it directly also to OCP. But this is a suggestion of how which categories we want submissions to come. As an example, for AI and HP systems in Fabric, last year we had collected the 3 presentations together, and instead of calling it a panel, actually we just made a joint presentation to it. If I remember correctly, I forgot exactly how much time we had. I could suggest it to make it a panel, and if it required, we could always convert it back to individual presentation, and then let OCP can handle it. How do you want that? We could put 3 different presentations, or maybe 4 if we get more companies to come and talk about the requirements from end user perspective. If HP or any other systems companies that we want to come and talk about requirements from the systems point of view, end user perspective, this will be a good area to collect. I don't know whether Samir is online. I'm putting on the spot, and Vikrant also, assuming that they will come and the presentation again. Meta will definitely present our requirements, specifically the evolution that has happened on the general compute as well as on the AI use cases. Samir online. All right, okay, we can wait for that. But this is what I will work on, the AI HPC systems fabric. So if anybody has any proposals, put it here. By the way, you can always submit it directly to OCP also. We are trying to put it here just to make sure that we have good coverage. But it's not necessary to put it here. You can just submit it directly to OCP also. Anything else, Reddy, you could think from overall how we want to do this?
Yeah, I was thinking, one way to do this is we had, a set of talks last year. Maybe we can just quickly take a look at it and say, okay, there is a refresh for that specific talk, and maybe just add that here in the meeting now, unless we have something else lined up.
Yeah.
That way we can at least have pseudo abstract. I know some of them will be missing, right? AI stuff will be missing for sure.
Yeah.
That we
okay.
Want to see if
we can start from there. You're right. I can just pre-populate this and ask if people are ready to have a refresh presentation.
Yeah, otherwise we'll just drop it, right? So that way we essentially have a good set, at least a baseline starting point.
Okay. Anybody, or if there is something that we had not done last year, then we just feel free to populate it here.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Manoj. So the the computational section will be new this year,
Yes,
right?
right,
So
right.
Yes,
I'll do
exactly. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Right. Also, last year we had it, but I'm just trying to put it up front here. Like interconnects, we had on cabling, and some of them we could not accommodate last time, and some of them we moved it to CXL. But I would like just want to bring it up again, considering that there are more interconnects coming on to the horizon now. It might not be a bad idea to have a presentation targeted in that space.
Pankaj, this is Yogesh. I was wondering, where would the near memory compute kind of thing, which we had a very good presentation last time, would fit in? That would be a good topic as well.
Yeah, so that will be in the computational memory programming area. We can invite, you are saying about this last meeting we had, right, of the working team. I think first thing is that because Brian could not make it, so I posted the recording. I think if CMS team members can review that presentation, we can make a decision, and it will be Brian's decision to invite Professor Guangsun Kim to this forum. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying for the submission also that I can talk to you offline.
Well, that would be an FTS submission. Okay, so it would not be an OCP Global Summit submission.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So this is actually a good point there. Go ahead, Brian.
So I was just going to say, I mean, we should talk about it offline, because if you're putting it in computational programming, I don't know why it necessarily bounds on me. I did have some thoughts on what I wanted to do with academic research, which may not jibe with what you want to do with that, but we could have that offline discussion. But I don't necessarily think it's bound.
Durgesh is bringing up, Brian, a paper that was presented by a professor from POSTECH in Korea at the CMS CXP work stream meeting.
Sure. No, I know. That was the thing that's Tuesday. I guess we should take it offline, but to me, I would put it in context, not just to this presentation, but also in the other things that are happening in this competition.
Oh, I see. So you are saying that it's not a given that it should be in the academic part.
Yeah, exactly.
If it aligns well with our part, we can bring it here.
Yeah, it's like, and there's also other things I have around academic research of what I wanted to try to accomplish, and so making those things jibe. We don't have to talk about it now, but I'm open to that, but I don't think it's necessarily bound by me. If you want to put it in the computational programming part, it's like that's.
Oh, I see. Okay. I think then we'll leave it to Reddy and Manoj to decide whether academic work that aligns with particular work stream should be better presented in the work stream or should be better presented in academic research.
Yeah, Pankaj, where I was coming from is you and I have talked, and I've talked also to others, is Manoj as well, is some of the near memory compute is getting more and more important or relevant. So we have some ideas, and that's what I was referring, that maybe for OCP submission, we can start thinking about it if we can put it in a OCP submission. But if you think there's something else, somewhere else, we can definitely talk.
Okay. What I'll do is thanks, Durgesh, for clarifying. We will ask for some members to see if they have additional ideas. I know that ARM and 0 Point have explicitly presented what they have in mind, and some academic teams. But like MIPS is, Durgesh is representing MIPS now. MIPS might be another presenter, it appears.
Yes.
So we will collect our agenda items properly, Manoj.
Okay, then I will not put it here right now. You guys put it once you have coordinated all the content here. Yeah. The reason I think is basically if we have all the content decided and then we submit it to server track, it basically gives us a good potential for us to have all the content created holistically for CMS, which may require us to be in a single room like what last year, but if not, at least maybe the right time slots and maybe have make sure that they're all going together so that it's easier for people to attend. So that's the only reason. All of this content can be submitted directly in OCP also. We just want to make sure that content is covered.
Yeah. So Manoj, the way you are saying is, I would also second that's the best way to do it, so that it's coherent among each other, as well as if you can get a dedicated room and a session, that'd be useful.
Yes. Yeah. So let's just maybe look at the areas and see if we are good there, and then like Reddy suggested, I'll try to pre-populate. Reddy and I'll pre-populate based on the last year, but then feel free to add to this sheet. This is open. I already posted it in the chat, and also it is there in the meeting minutes. Let me just go through this. So these 5 are basically our work streams. In addition, I added CMS interconnects and CMS memory technologies because they may spread across all these topics. CMS interconnects I added, as I said, right, because you want to make sure that you know where we are and what we are doing and what are the other options coming up. We should have some space that can come here. All of this could fit into these also. I'm just proposing it there. Also, some of the topics last year we had about cabling and connectivity. I was not sure whether it fits in any of these, so this could be another place where you can consider that. The last one that I was adding for memory technology specifically, we haven't had a lot of discussion in this space, but it's important discussion also. I don't have any specific topics in my mind. I have some thoughts from the end user perspective, which I can cover here, or I can propose a topic here. For example, HBM and LPDDR are very crucial. DDR6 is very crucial for AI workloads as well as the general compute use cases. So, and then there are specific requirements that we want to make sure that we can communicate about memory expansion requirement, how they differ from the memory technology perspective. So we can have something from Meta, but there may be more people, especially people who are specialists in memory, would like to come and talk about. This will be a good area to put it in there.
Yeah,
I'll pause
Manoj, I
here.
added sheet 2 with last year's submissions.
Awesome. Oh man, you are ahead of me here. Okay. Okay,
so we can
then
just
we'll drag and
maybe
drop
in the
into
column B, or you can just copy that into
I see.
the thing.
Yes. Okay.
Either way, whatever.
Yeah. Sure.
Feel
No,
comfortable.
this is good.
We
Okay.
have, I mean, I will paste the link too. You know, it's not easy to find that. So
Okay,
we can
then
pull
we
in the
can do
abstracts
this.
and refine it, especially for the workstream relevant topics. So we had the yeah, that will be a refresh. This next one will be a refresh. I think this came from.
This came from Meta and Cisco. I don't know, Anant is not online or not, but you can ask Meta again.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to do it, this will be awesome. Actually, in fact, it would be good to have non-Meta name on it just now because.
Let's see if we can actually add a switch vendor to this. I think our focus was the memory expansion, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe even a computational device, Pankaj, vendors.
Yeah, this I think should have a lot more from the memory side also.
Yeah, and the memory side, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This will be, I think we should look at, I think there were 2 or 3 connectivity things, right? So there is one with optics. Definitely optics is something we should cover.
I think I got this wrong.
Right.
Interconnects and connectivity.
Yeah. We should cover the optics.
Very good point. Yeah.
I think more for this group, guys, with UAL getting announced today. So there is the alphabet soup, UAL, UEC, CXL. You know, where are we on? I just want our group to be on the same page with respect to system architecture diagrams, right? So,
yeah, this is specifically the reason why I'm putting it there. I think these are 2 main things at least I had for sure in mind: optics and UL. Yeah, this will be good discussion. I mean, as I said, it could fit in many places too. Doesn't matter, but we want to make sure that we are covering it.
UEC, I think we should do the UEC, right? What is UAL?
UAL is basically what was AFL.
Oh, AFL is changed to UAL. Okay, good. Okay, I was about to say AFL, but okay.
Reddy, we are definitely part of it.
Yeah. Then UEC, I think we should look at. Yeah, I think we'll have enough topics.
Oh, you're talking about UEC also. I see.
Also,
I gotcha. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Right. I think those are the big ones.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of interconnect, you should focus on what the overall system architecture for both sort of scale up and scale out. Maybe that's what this is really talking about here.
Okay, good
There
point.
you go, Brian. I agree completely.
Yeah,
Well, as you guys know, these things are all interconnected. The overall architecture, then the topology, and then the devices. Devices could be accelerator devices or memory devices.
Yes.
I can definitely see this one being important. Yeah. If anybody wants to raise hands, please do when you put it in here. I'm definitely interested in any of these topics.
I raise hands for interconnect and memory related topics.
Awesome. So let's maybe okay.
And for computational programming, Manoj, it will be, it sounds like some combination of myself, Durgesh, Nilesh, and John from ARM. I don't know if somebody from ARM is here today. John is here. I hope John can take on.
Yeah, this is Matt. I'm on. Yeah, we would like to participate for near memory.
Thank you.
In fact, we did present at the OCP regional on near memory compute.
Yes, I fully expect that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe Pecan may be interested too.
Yes, sure, Reddy. We are actually working on it as well.
Okay.
And you can also add my name to the hardware
form factors
or form factors side.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Reddy, for fixing that. I'm sorry about the omission. Pecan.
No worries.
Okay, so I think what we can do then, I think for now, instead of topic, maybe people can just at least add their names where they are interested and ready to contribute content.
Yeah, so Manoj, we'll just move the sheet 2 into the relevant buckets wherever it makes sense, right?
Okay.
So I can take care of that after the meeting.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
For programming model, I can suggest an update for unified memory framework, which we reviewed on this working group.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly aligned with our first release date, so it's scheduled for Q3 this year. So OCP is also, as I remember, in October. So it's exact match, I believe.
So I'm assuming this would be for under the computational programming bucket, if you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unified memory framework is also for deallocating from pools with or without computational, Manoj. So yeah, it's a bit more general.
Okay, unified memory framework. Okay, let's just put it out here right now. Let's figure it out. Okay. Sounds good. So okay, so we'll do a few things. We'll take a first crack at it, but just moving these here and ask the presenters from the last time to make sure that whether they're ready to come back and have a refreshed presentation on that. And additionally, these new topics, let's figure it out. If people have actual presentation proposals, please just add it there directly. Otherwise, we can look at how to create something that allows us to talk about it and have a discussion, present as well as discussion.
Hey, Manoj, is the link to the spreadsheet shared yet or not shared?
Yes, it is.
It's posted, in the chat.
In the chat?
Yes, and it is
see if you
open
can
for
access it. Yeah.
If
you can double check and see if you can access it.
Right
in the
beginning.
was
accessing, and it takes me to the meeting minutes rather than to the.
Oh, this one is.
Oh, okay. So if you're clicking on the link in the chat, it will get you in this document. And if you click on this document here
Oh, I
inside,
see it. Thanks,
it should
Manoj.
go. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks. I didn't catch that.
Because that
And
has this, there are both the pointers. So I didn't put two, I just put the 15 minutes.
And I'll just paste it anyway, if you want to go directly to the spreadsheet while Manoj is typing.
Okay.
Okay, I pasted the spreadsheet link too.
I think, okay, so let me go back here. Any other big ticket item that we want to cover in which we want either presentations or panels or any thoughts? Because I think this is plenty large enough. I think we will get, looking at what we had to go through last year, this is already large enough agenda.
Yeah,
but our goal
this
would
is
be
going to be pretty
to,
big. Yeah.
yeah. And we have submissions deadline is June 21st. So we have time. So maybe by next Friday, we can get a first cut at it. Then we have week after to finalize, or at least get every bit to submit. We can do two ways, I think, Reddy, right? That they can submit directly. Is there a way for us to submit as a whole agenda, or I think it's better if just people submit it directly, right?
Yeah, it's better because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because you have to type the bio and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, basically it will be better if once we agree that here is the list, here is the at least the title and the owners, then they can submit directly and we can track whether they have submitted or not.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it's like pretty painful. I mean, the notification and everything should go to them, not us.
If
Yeah.
Manoj, can you also add me into the same one?
Yeah, I was thinking we'll just put all the names who will be interested in this, and
Yeah.
we'll figure out how to do this then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so just add the names right now. We'll figure out. Of course, if it is a panel, we don't want to have more than certain number, but looking at the overall agenda, we can always balance it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want us to submit yet. You want us to kind of vet it through this spreadsheet first, and then you'll say submit it individually.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, people can
You
still
can submit
it
and
directly.
edit too.
It's not a problem. Yeah. It's
you can
fine.
keep on
Either way is fine.
changing it as well, right?
Yeah.
So you can submit and re-edit and all that stuff. I think the key thing is to make sure that it is submitted under the server project. That way we can consolidate and, I mean, our goal is to have our own track. So it's easy to, get visibility and all that stuff. Right. And the second thing is when we actually talk here, it is more about the work stream relevant discussions and talks. There is a very, very straightforward map. But anything that doesn't fall under those buckets, we may have to kind of vet it out to make sure that, it is indeed OCP relevant as opposed to marketing. There is an element of marketing and, in general, during the review process, it does come up saying that how is it relevant to OCP? We should be able to clearly articulate that, especially for the folks who are actually reviewing the abstracts and approving them. To that extent, it will benefit, just to kind of say it makes sense.
Sure. All right. Maybe I'll follow up. So, for example, I kind of have two things I'm thinking for the academic research. One is which is a panel, which I don't have the list of, say, external researchers that I would invite yet. I have ideas, but I don't have them named and signed up to that kind of thing. So if that's that level of detail is not needed at this point in time, then that's fine. But those are some of the questions I would have.
Yeah, if you need two panels, because I think we had one panel just in general, where CXL is headed last year. I think this time looks like, Manoj, you're thinking about how the composable memory for AI is headed. And then if it is a forward-looking, research activity and all that stuff, that if you believe that has to be a separate panel, don't constrain yourself thinking that it's not needed, or it's, add it to the list. And we can
sure, I'm going to add it. It's just a matter of, documenting it when I don't have everyone listed on the panel. It could be external people, right? It's some professors.
Right.
So
yeah, you can normally change though. I mean, the presenters and all that stuff, as long as you can take care of submitting it and
Yep.
then, writing an abstract. It's changing the speakers is in general a lot more flexible. As long as you essentially put your foot in and say, here is the talk, and then it gets approved, then you're in a good space.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you two guys one email because I have two ideas and it's just biased and whether I want to help the younger professors with stuff or I want to help the older professors and kind of talk about things. So that would be more the panel thing. So lightning round versus panel. That's one of the things that I'm thinking of, but we can follow up an email.
Yeah. Since we have all the work streams, we want to make sure that work stream represents well into this presentations, right? That's a academic research. I think some of the some of the what you as tech day what we saw is basically not, it was really well received for all the presentations. Some of them, of course, perhaps from that you may have thoughts, okay, hey, perhaps this kind of work has much more connectivity to people and is important urgently right now. Maybe you can pick those topics with a short presentation, or maybe one or two slides, but get a discussion going on the topics related to all the agenda items that we have. I'd say, yeah,
sure.
The time is limited in the day here. Typically, because last time what I'd seen was basically it's not a lot of time.
It was only 15 minutes or something, right? We ended up actually doing a lot of this.
That too, when we got a whole day and a whole room. So we are going to right now create a lot of content, but I want to be just also mindful of the fact that we may not be able to do everything. So we'll try to figure out how to get the most of the content and message out there and get maximum representation from the team also.
Yeah.
Manoj and Reddy, from that point of view, what I would like to suggest speakers to do is it doesn't matter if you are from different companies, if you have an aligned message, maybe you should present together. So right now, for example, for the computational programming, I'm putting every company in their own row. But like Manoj was saying, that would be too many rows for the whole day. So maybe the next thing to do is to suggest topics. And if your topics line up, maybe present together. So we eat up 1 15-minute slot, not two, right?
This just makes it, because what I had seen last time was from server, whenever there's memory related topics, it will come to us, Reddy, me, and Siamak was helping also from the CXL track perspective last time and in general guiding it because he was the incubation committee representative for us. What we ended up doing was basically that, right? That we had a lot of things we wanted to make sure that, but the representation happened. So we had proposed people to either combine or we combined multiple things as a panel. We are trying to do it now proactively and see if we can do it upfront so we can reduce the work later.
One thing to consider as you're thinking about speakers, OCP staff, when they're putting all these wonderful programs together, are concerned about the number of people on the stage. If you would like to acknowledge work done by people, you can, of course, name them as part of the presentation, but putting their name as a speaker will cause trouble for the staff trying to organize these things. So select one speaker, or if it is a panel, maybe 3, to be named as part of the what was that, IDF was the part of the tool, but you can acknowledge as many people as you wish as you're presenting.
Yeah, so we can start with this right now, just as a putting the content down. But I think CMAC, what you said, and Pankaj, we'll end up figuring out what is possible to fit into the day, and also as CMAC said, what is possible to be put it on the stage, because the number of people you can have on a stage gets limited, except in panel, then we can put like 4 to 5 people. But otherwise, co-presenting.
Yeah, just to play along with the rules, kind of, or practicalities. The number of people on the stage is time and the number of mics, but it also has to do with the speaker privileges, basically the pass they get. So if somebody has already received a pass for another, because they're a leader or because they're presenting something else, they don't need to be named again if that's what your intention is.
Good point. Very good point. All right. I think we have enough to people. Please do take time to put any topics if you have any right now. Don't worry about many of the things that we'll finish in next 2 weeks. And speakers, and I think that any work stream leads, if you guys can already take care of getting that content populated here, that will be awesome. The new areas, I think we'll figure out something as we go along. I just added one more thing, whether we want to have invited speech for semester. We may not be able to do it. We may not even have time. But I just put it there just as a thought.
So Manoj, we
Yeah,
are leaving the agenda discussion without, for the OCP Global Summit, without currently any device or device vendor presentations. I think coming bottom up, that might be a major miss. So I think everything else should concentrate, because device vendors, the major ones at least, I think we should invite them to always describe their plans. That's the
maybe if you
foundation.
can add implementation
good point
section, and then we can add CMS POCs and CMS. Maybe this is the, what do we want to call?
Actually, you're right.
CMS
Some of these are coming.
Implementations. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we will see lots of them will come in. There are a lot of them that come into that category. Maybe what I call as a memory technologies is what I meant, the implementations also.
So I think Hynix and Micron are represented today in the attendees. Samsung, maybe I don't know if Samsung is here.
Samsung is Samsung now.
Samsung. So I think maybe the three vendors, at least the module vendors, if you guys want to just line up something, those slots I think are pretty important. So let's fix that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good point.
Yeah. Good point. Yes, and we had a very robust representation last year, so I'm hoping it will be even better this time, because a lot more products that have been brought to the market or being planned to brought to the market. There is adoption already happening, so I'm hoping that we'll get good representation. And we had good discussions also this year on some of this adoption. Okay.
Reddy and Manoj, from you, what the main thing I need is the time budget. So I think people will want to talk, and we should get a time budget for the computational programming session to do the remaining planning. So maybe you guys can get together and do the time allocation today, and then communicate back to the team leads to do the planning.
Yeah, they normally want the OCP team normally want each session to be a minimum of 20 minutes. And we ended up actually picking mostly 20-minute sessions. And then I think a couple of them got like 5 or 10 minutes extra, like panel as an example. So if you can plan, and you can have multiple sessions, Pankaj, it doesn't have to be only one. Yeah, if you can plan around 20-minute, 2 presenters typically, and we have done 3 presenters too, 2 to 3 presenters, 20 minutes as a starting point. That will be good.
So I think what he's also asking for is basically, if we assume we get a day or a room, assuming that I think we take 2 breaks and lunch sessions which are mandated times, exact times, that I think OCP question is basically, can we give some guideline of how much time you want from max from computational programming, that kind of thing. I think that's what Pankaj is asking.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what I'm assuming. I mean, I'm assuming that we are going to get our own track, and it's going to be whole day. We had 19 sessions. The problem is, besides all the discussions that we are having here, they essentially push some of the hardware related abstracts and interconnect related abstracts that may actually come from completely independent of what we are talking here. And we ended up actually giving away like 4 or 5 slots, unfortunately. So out of 19, we should assume, we may end up giving away, 4 to 5 slots. We may have only 14 or 15 slots. And then, right, each one of them ideally either 15 minutes or 20 minutes as a starting point. 15 minutes, they push back heavily. That's what we ended up doing last time.
Okay. So we'll take so Reddy, we can take a crack at it, saying that if you wanted to do these many things and subtract that time, how much time we can kind of allocate for each.
Yeah, assume that, I think at this point, let's consolidate the, the number of list of topics and presenters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see what the situation is like. And then,
Okay.
we may have to pitch in for multiple days if they
I
are
see.
important, and if it is important for OCP, or we may have to say things that actually come outside this discussion will not be part of this track.
Yeah.
So something to consider too is that as this becomes more and more popular, it's increasingly difficult to facilitate all of the different ideas and tracks and things like that without causing, massive problems. And what I mean by that is that we can have a very long track, for example, on CMS, but then people are like conflicted. Like if they want to be here, but they also want to hear something in another track. We hear a lot about that, like so much going on at the same time. So we're trying to proceed with the, with the mindset that, highest quality content first, and try to hold the line on that. Like, so, instead of having everybody present or this is an opportunity for everyone to talk, it's more like this is an opportunity for the best ideas to be shared so that something can happen next. And then what do you do with all that information and ideas that don't have, get a slot for this is something where you guys can really kind of help us do a better job of. And so we've considered things like maybe having you guys nominate the best presentations, and then we can include them online for availability for all, even though they didn't get a time slot to speak or some other ideas. So what I guess I'm asking for is if you guys have ideas on how to improve the situation, let us know. But as a foundation, there's a lot of constraints that are difficult to move. And so I really want to see you guys have all the time that you need, but I also want to, kind of make sure you guys select the very best ideas and the very best content and guard the time preciously.
Yeah. I think that's what we are trying to do, that, we want to make sure that we get all the content from the CMS side, but I see, that we actually, all the due diligence we do afterwards, actually, we have done it upfront now to get the content out. But I think you're right. We want to make sure that we watch it for the content rather than just the representation. I think that's, Bijan, your point also, right?
Based on Bijan's comments and what we eventually had to do during one of the COVID times, it worked out very well if people who wish to present record their topic. OCP can place that one at any time online, but if you have that one already before the summit, you can maybe publish that one and have question and answers afterwards. In other words, it gives people to present everything, but the time on the stage is condensed to exactly what's necessary.
Yeah.
Which means that you can't wait until the last moment. We have to kind of plan it if that's the case.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Okay, this is a very good discussion. Please do work offline, and then let's get more content. And as Vijan and Samaka, but let's make sure that it's really the quality content that we're going to focus on. All right, just give me a second.
Manoj, at least from a work stream perspective, I will prioritize that which the work stream views as finished work by the Global Summit. So I think generally the work stream is there for people to present ideas and to find collaborators and to develop that and to bring back to CMS. So from that point of view, we only have a couple of good candidates that have been presented and vetted. Everything else, I think, will have to go through the normal process of things that have not been presented before. And I think this should also give the potential presenters some impetus to try and present in the work streams ahead of the deadline. Because I think we need time to have the group comment on the ideas that you want to share with the broader OCP Global Summit in the work stream, in the big, in the CMS team before it goes to OCP Global Summit. So I think that normal process we should follow. And at least in the computational programming part, that's what I would like to use to prioritize. And that's for you, Bijan and Manoj, Reddy, for you to consider.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, right? I mean, I normally, any talk that actually hasn't happened, let's say if there is a CMS relevant, submission that none of us were completely aware and it got submitted, through some separate channels, the possibility of that getting accepted, especially when we have a limited time budget, is literally zero. So in that context, it is important. Because the intent is to make sure that the work that we are actually doing collectively in this sub-project as well as broader OCP, projects and sub-projects has relevance to OCP as opposed to really, something mostly marketing related, right? And let's say if somebody wants to propose, let's say TCO, specific, talk. If that hasn't been vetted through, and if it is really memory-centric TCO discussion there, and if it hasn't been vetted through in these meetings, it won't get accepted, primarily because the contributors haven't got a chance to preview and vet it out and say it really makes sense as a community to take it forward and make it visible for broader attendees, right?
I think everybody should write that note down, what he said word for word, and underline it twice. It is very well said.
Yep. Hey, Reddy, do you want to cover anything on the Innovation Village? I know I don't want to
the Innovation Village, the submission deadline is July 12th. In the past, the last year, what we have done is there were a couple of submissions that went and got submitted directly, and then we ended up actually consolidating them in one submission. So let's make sure we add the Innovation Village related demos in this spreadsheet that I have actually attached, and Manoj is actually showing that as a starting point. And we will have to review this in this meeting to make sure that there is OCP relevance. I really don't want to see anything that says, here is the product and here is how we actually get things done, but there is no OCP context. It has to be related to one of the elements of OCP tenets plus focus areas like hardware, the rack, cabling, software, right? Any one of them, but somebody has to be clearly articulate that this demo really has relevance to OCP. Without that, it won't make its cut. So it will be important for you to actually add the list of demos that you're targeting in this spreadsheet. We can actually go through the vetting process and then make sure they're actually indeed relevant for OCP and it makes sense to prioritize them. I will submit this as one document. I'm double checking with Rob to make sure he's okay with it. This is what I have done last year. One spreadsheet that includes all the demos and all the details, including the connectivity and hookup, power and all that stuff. It really helped last year. So I would like to, use the same process this year, unless Rob has very strong reservations against it. So let's make sure as a starting point, add your talks, your demos into the list, into the spreadsheet. Let us consolidate. And in a week or so, I will, close with Rob and make sure that, yes, we are going to submit one form. You don't need to do anything. I will just take care of that. So July 12th, we have time. Normally what I recommend is whoever is actually doing a talk, if there is a specific technology implementation that actually gets discussed in the technical track, it would be nice to actually show that in the innovation village. So demo plus talk normally goes very well, which I have seen in the past.
So last time I think what we had ended up was just kind of giving an overview of Innovation Village in one presentation with two different presenters. I think it will be good to plan it upfront, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so we had essentially a couple of, I think the expo hall slots we got, right? I think one or two.
Yeah, two. We had two slots and we
yeah.
created one content and two different presenters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Manoj and Reddy, the deadline for the OCP server is
I added
June
that
20. So for submissions you're saying, or the presentation?
Yeah, submissions.
Submission is 21st.
June 21st, and then the other deadline Reddy shared is July 12th, right?
That's the Innovation Village deadline is July 12th.
Thank you.
Yeah, normally it lags behind compared to the technical workshops.
This may also be the time that people who have submitted directly to the OCP server to identify their submissions, whether they fall into the agenda as proposed or not, just list them, what you have submitted, so that we can, if they align well with the CMS agenda, Manoj, maybe you guys can organize a little bit and let the work stream people know if there's something in their areas.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think we covered the innovation demos and we'll work on that sheet, I guess. So people have access to this document also. Feel free to add. So are you thinking also for pulling the last year's demos and pinging people, or what are you thinking already?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I will, approach each one of them. I have the email list and ask them directly, because some of them might not have attended today.
It was a great event last year already.
Yeah, it went
so
very
much
well,
put
right?
into the it went very well. Yeah. And this year, hopefully, it will be on better because there are more products out there now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we have now 5 minutes. I think, did you get I think I know you posted in the chat. Pankaj, sorry, ready? Should we move from the global OCP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Manoj and Reddy, as you can see from the chat, there is some openness about this topic, whether because this idea actually came from Matt Soberg of Marvell, that we should not limit computational programming to type 2. But when we try to go to type 3, we uncover some openness and lack of clarity that we would like to close. So this is an unresolved topic for us right now, whether scope of computational programming should be just type 2 or also include type 3. And if it includes type 3, what are the specification topics and clarifications to close? So David Bowles, thank you for putting some meat behind that discussion. Simak, are you looking at the chat and do you have any comment to add to what David already clarified?
For type 3 devices, you cannot rely on hardware-based coherence model to help you if the device is doing any active computation. But software models could work if you just treat that one as just a memory device.
And that will work without limitation or with limitation?
A question there, CMAC. Assume just software coherence for a moment, right? If the host hardware suffers from it can't guarantee no clean writebacks, I don't see how you could possibly ever do anything, right? Because anything that's mutating data on the device may be just hit with a clean writeback, obliterating what it's just done.
Well, similar to issues we had with storage and persistent storage and persistent memory, if the software models include sinks and flushes, couldn't you do that?
If you go look at examples of when clean writebacks occur, the only way that people have been able to come up with to guarantee that those don't occur from processors that can possibly issue them is to turn off caching entirely.
Can we look at the flows though? Maybe Pankaj and Matt, I'm not really clear on why we need type 3 though, just to be honest with you. Computational programming in type 3. Maybe it is a semantic issue, type 2 or type 3, or maybe you don't want to have dot cache availability, only .mem. But still it is fuzzy to me on why you think there is a need for it. Is there a specific use case you're targeting, and what exactly are the problems? Maybe we can have a deeper discussion.
Yes, and we are out of time in a minute or so. So just quickly to answer your question, everything that we surveyed for best practices was implemented without standard CXL mechanisms like mailboxes and hardware coherence. So it's becoming problematic for us to capture best practices. And the perspective I've taken already, and we want to revisit this with the big team, is that in the present, the implementations are reflecting the lack of future devices. So best practices for future devices may get some ideas for academia as well, but we just are not finding evidence for the adoption of type 2 restriction. So I just wanted to surface that.
I think this is actually good discussion in a context. I don't know where and how you can do this, but there are challenges right now that we see in CXL, and anybody who are adopting, you see one way or the other. For example, I see CXL.cache performance challenges when I'm using it in the CPU interconnect context. I don't know whether we want to kind of get them all this together as a questions or comments, or maybe something as a single presentation about what we see from the spec, what we see from the current capabilities of the spec.
Yeah, and then what we need from the CXL consortium, right?
Correct. Right.
That would be that's where we need to head out. Yeah.
Right.
I really second that idea. Let's pick that up future.
Okay. So let me put that as a topic maybe for our future discussion.
Yeah,
and
that will be a very good topic.
Even perhaps if this can be together, we should create a presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I know we are at time practically. Very good discussion. I think we'll try to close onto the submissions in next 2 weeks and get the submissions out of the door before the final submission deadline. And let's work on this topic that Pankaj Jha brought up also. I think it looks like a very good topic it has evolved into a very good topic to include many other things.
Thank you.
So thanks for bringing it up. All right. Okay. With that, I think we can close today, and I'll see you guys next week. Please do add your comments and names and suggestions for the topics into both of these sheets offline. I'll see you next week then. See ya. Bye.